Hey, good afternoon, everybody. It'll be a Tuesday afternoon. I know it's been a while since I was over here in the woods, and can't help but just keep looking around, you know. So nice and calm over here today, and the other thing that it is today is it is not 95 degrees. Today's high has only been about 78 at my house. Feels pretty good for a change. Going to be down, I heard high 50s for the morning low. We can only hope, can't we? So I brought my little cooler weather bag with me. And I'm going to do a hammock camp tonight. Not going to do an underquilt. We'll see how that works out. It's worked out well before. Not going to do any fancy setup. I think this is about the lightest bag I brought to the woods, and I can't remember when. Bare necessities, kind of, along with all the camera gear and stuff, my extra batteries, of course. But pretty light this time, 28 pounds. Camera gear and all. Now, you got to remember that's camera gear and all. Looks really nice over here. You know, we've had a lot of rain, guys. Thunderstorm after thunderstorm. The afternoons have been clouded over, hot mornings and cloudy, rainy afternoons. And this heat index up to 106, 108 around here. And I know some of you guys have had it a lot higher than that. But it's kind of took its toll on everything. I can see the wilt over here in the green, in amongst the green now. Not exactly as perky as it was. The rain's helped a lot though. It rained really hard yesterday afternoon at my house for about 15 minutes. And then the ground steamed for a little while just before this front came in. Let's give us this little bit of relief. Nothing fancy this time for sure, folks. Let me get over here and set my hammock up. I got somebody I want to talk to for just a minute. Thanks for coming. Appreciate it. Oh yeah, before I go any further, excuse me. Donna and I came over here, been about a week and a half ago. And the blackberries over on the hill were just starting to get ripe, so we kind of left them alone. I know it's been a weird season for them this year. They should have already been in. But we found a whole bunch of chanterelles. And they were good, by the way. I do enjoy those. More than morels, I think. But before I get too carried away in this one, let me show you a couple of clips from when Donna and I were over here in the woods. We got a real nice surprise, by the way. Spotted. I believe they recognize me. Is that not beautiful? Thank you, gentlemen. You were very kind this morning. I had to move.
You were looking.
Looky what we got. Looky what we got. And not just that, but
Did you want to? Oh, good gosh.
Yeah, this
Did you want to pick
this
more
is
or
a
no?
patch. Well, that wouldn't hurt to pick a few of these, like the ones I just brushed across right there are loose from the ground. Look. The Laduo hammock that I've got here is 10 by 6, 3 meter by 2. And everything that I need to string the hammock is in the bag. Generally, I also have the ridge line in here, but I swapped out ridge lines today and it happened to be in the backpack. Let me put my straps up, and I'll talk a little bit more about the fixed ridge line. That's where I'm going anyway. One of my longtime subscribers, Aid, Dale Skidmore, secondhand tires. You guys check him out. He's doing a boat restoration, and I cannot wait to see his first camp on this boat. It ought to be fantastic. So let me get my straps up in the tree real quick, and I'll get back to you with the hammock. When I do my setup here, I'm usually just about head high on this tree and just a little bit higher on this one because the ground goes down right here. When you don't have the luxury of knowing how high your straps need to be or exactly how far apart your trees are, that's where the fixed ridge line comes in for me. It may be different for you, but I'm going to show you how I do it. First thing we got to do is get her out of the bag and on the straps. Generally I leave 4 or 5 down because I know it'll reach to the other end, and then I adjust up from there. Well, that's nice. Most of the time I don't remember exactly where it was supposed to be. And I've more than likely got the hammock backwards. Oh, look at that. Strung it up right the first time. Since I'm stretching up here all the time, I kind of know where I need to be right now. I usually stretch it up so that I've got about a foot to the ground and sit in it for a few minutes, bounce around a little bit, stretch it out. Then we'll get into the ridgeline thing. You see, mine is a little bit more than head high. A lot of people like it down here. Sometimes that's the way it works out with the hammocks. I'll go into that in just a minute. Okay, remember how it looked in that last shot? When it was up about here, I let my ridge line go. And this one has a, it's kind of like nylon tape in the top to make your ridge line for the mosquito net. Works out really good. And generally, if I'm stretching from scratch, like I am today, I'll get set up about like this, and then we'll just have to make slight adjustments from there. But the first thing I do is I generally pull my mosquito net kind of tight to the spot that I want to give a try. And in this case, I'm about 8 feet. I'm going to use about 8 feet of the ridge line. And I kind of got it marked off so I know about where it's at here. So let me snug this off real quick. A couple of half hitches takes care of that. Now I'm going to take this ridge line and bring it just a little bit tighter than that so that all my weight is going to be on this. Same kind of affair. On this, I just went through, I hope you can see me down here, I just went through the split of the line. Bring out the slack, and you can see that I also put this webbing inside the fixed ridge line that I'm going to put up here. And I keep saying fixed ridge line, but in my case it's a lot variable here because I'm still checking things out, seeing where I like it. So now I'm going to put a trucker's hitch in this. You guys are all too familiar with that, I'm sure. And come back through. I'm going to bring this up, like I said there again, to about my 8-foot mark, give or take just a little bit right there. And I'm going to tie it off. And right now it's not going to be tight. All it's holding up is, you know, kind of the weight of the hammock and the weight of the straps on it. And at this point in time, when you know where you're going to put your ridge line, whether it be 7 feet, 8 feet, 9.5 feet, wherever you wind up being the most comfortable. Of course, the closer you do on this, the more swag you're going to have. And about 7.5 to 8 feet, I'm finding it very comfortable to get a fairly nice side lay. It's not going to be perfect. The hammock world, I don't know, besides one of those fancy $300 and some hammocks, you know, what can you do? Make yourself one. That might be in the process here before long. Try to make a hammock anyway. With it like this, if you were in a situation to where your trees were a little closer together, you couldn't get your straps high enough, or you're using a different strap than the Atlas strap. And there are ways to get around small trees with those too, but it's easier if you're doing a cinch lock of some sort, a couple of double D rings that you go through. And at this point in time, of course, if I sit down in it, I'm going to the ground. But at this point in time, you would want to take your suspension and move it out to get the height off the ground that you want. And I'm going to do that by moving the carabiners out. Now you can kind of see here the hold effect. The ridge line got tight when I sat down in it. I loosened this one up just a little bit so it's not weight bearing at all. Most cases you wouldn't want that anyway. Now in a lot of hammock cases there are ridge lines. The fixed ridge line is inside the mosquito net, which I kind of like, gives you a place to hang stuff. This one has a couple of clips on it, which is kind of nice. But when I find the right length, I'm going to run the ridge line inside the mosquito net, so that as you see it right now, when the hammock is up, the mosquito net will be coming out just about even with the carabiners. Had a few bugs come around. A couple of mosquitoes when I first got here, but they left. As far as a diagonal lay, you know, you guys are kind of on your own as to pick and choose how far you want to go diagonal. Like I said, for me, 7.5 to 8 feet is just about what I've got here, and I like it. When I get in, I get my head over to the, I guess you'd call it a right side, I'm not sure, and diagonal lay over to this side, and with the width and the way the hammock is cut, I'm pretty comfortable, you know. No, it's not an exact flat lay. You're just not going to get that. But I do the jackhammer thing. I'll show you guys in a minute. If you're not familiar with that, if you're kind of I snooze on my back. When I'm going to take a nap, I just lay down on my back. And then the jackhammer position works good for me there. In a diagonal lay also. I hope this helped a little bit. There again, it depends on your suspension, what you're using. Don't get in a hurry when you're doing this, and don't just do it once and give up on it. I mean, it's okay. Hammocks are not for everybody, and I didn't think a hammock camp was the right thing for me when I first started out either. As you see, I still do tent camps, but I have really grown to enjoy hammock camping kind of to its fullest. Now that I have a couple of different underquilts and all of the associated gear that goes with sleeping in a hammock and staying dry and warm. Hear the hawk squealing. Okay, got distracted there. You'll just have to play with it and see if you like it. If not, go back to the ground. That's the setup for tonight. You guys can see the tie-outs here. I have also grown to enjoy those. Something you might think about. Gives you a little more, sorry about bouncing the camera around there. Gives you a little more space when you go to sit down and you're stretched out in there. And tonight, we're going to be under the Chill Gorilla Superfly 10 by 10. Well, once you get everything strung up, you got to give it a test run, right? I hope I helped anybody out there, aid. I don't know that it's going to help you overall, but maybe it'll give you something to work with. You've got a nice hammock. You know, might as well use it, right? If anybody's wondering, at night, generally I have this chair with me. And at night I set my boots up in the chair. If I've got a little spray of some sort, bug repellent, I'll spray it around the bottom. The chair, the hammock, sleeping bags have all been treated with permethrin. So I haven't had any issues so far. Tonight we'll see, because just me and the hammock. Oh yeah. I'm about 18 inches off the ground, just about like I like it. And these tie outs are all on bungee. And that's kind of a must. You might like it. It's something you might want to try if you're new to hammock camping. I'm 3 years in now, and I really enjoy what I got. I mentioned a few minutes ago there about having the proper gear, and that is a must. Right now, I feel comfortable down to about 15 degrees Fahrenheit. With the gear that I've got to stay warm, it makes you where you don't want to get up in the morning, but you stay warm all night without any issues. And using the hand warmers down in the foot box of your sleeping bag, that makes a large difference. Tonight, like I said, if it gets down to 58, 59 degrees like they're talking about, I don't think I'll be too bad, because I've slept that low on the river trip in the hammock with just a sleeping bag. Yeah, this is the Mermont Down bag. No pillow. I find that by using the Ridgeline, it brings, well, it helps shape the hammock to where I've got a decent pillow in the hammock for me. I've got a sweatshirt that I brought with me just in case it get a little cool, which I don't think I'm going to, but I'll probably use it for a bit of a pillow. And yeah, you may notice my pipe is a little bit shorter. Yeah, I broke the snout off of it. Still smokable, and I do have the piece to repair it with. Not the first time, by the way. Thanks for the tips on keeping the pipe lit, by the way, guys. Appreciate it. I believe I'm just going to hang out for a little bit. I say that in jest, kind of, because I've got a couple of 3 hours of sunlight left. Probably closer to 3. I ate well before I left the house, so I'm not really starving. Did bring a decent Mountain House meal with me. I believe I got chicken and dumplings tonight. Simple oatmeal breakfast for tomorrow. I tried to go as light as I could on this one. You know, there's some things I just can't go without anymore. The chair being one of them, having a place to sit other than the hammock works out for me. There again, it's 1.5 pounds. I have 1 pound and 3 ounces. 1.5 pounds, let's call it, with the little net that I sewed on there and the bag itself. Yeah, the chair and just the frame weighs 1 pound 3 ounces. But I'm more than happy to carry it. Yeah, my total weight, I was pretty proud of the total weight this time. Not counting water. Now, I did say I counted camera gear, but I did not count the water. Beautiful evening, isn't it, folks? Just absolutely beautiful. Just enough breeze stirring to make it feel nice. I'm supposing it's probably still around, I don't know, 78, 76 degrees. Feels nice though. I didn't bring a selfie stick with me this time either to save a little bit of weight, so excuse the camera shake here. Thought I'd show you a little bit of the lay of this thing from the inside. Once I get situated in here and get my feet out in front of me there, not bad. Let me see if I can extend you out just a little bit. Once I get situated in, you can see I'm not exactly a flat lay on my back, but I am in the jackhammer. One leg up, one leg kind of bent to the inside. And that's very comfortable for me, very comfortable. Once again, please excuse the camera shake. And you can see if I just lay my head back, I've got a pretty decent pillow rest right here in this. No seam issue there at all. Getting on your side now, that's a little bit different story. Once I get all tuned in, and I suppose you guys probably noticed that my foot end, I like it about 6 inches higher than my head end. Keeps me from scrooching down during the middle of the night. But you can see where my feet are down there. And if I stretch completely out, I'm in a fairly flat lay here on my side. It feels good. It conforms to you well. Well, you guys that sleep in hammocks, you know about that. But it's very comfortable. And the hammock is not so sloppy. You might think that by the cloth being in a sag like that, that it would be sloppy in here, but it's not. And I don't feel the shoulder squeeze. Of course, laying on your side, you're not going to, but even if I get over on my back, it's still not uncomfortable. And I don't feel any shoulder squeeze whatsoever. These pullouts really help. Well, I think tonight, before it gets too dark, I'm going to go ahead and start a fire. I got one skeeter bite on my elbow, a couple buzzing around. Didn't want to spray anything unless I had to. No more than here down with the deep for the ticks. Haven't seen any today. Really nice afternoon. Really was. Probably, I don't know, 7 o'clock, 7:30. Let's go ahead and get this monstrosity of a teepee. Go ahead and get it lit. Alright, we're going to see if this is working. I hope it's working tonight. I enjoy getting fire going like this. I just hope my bird's nest down there will be willing to accept and catch on fire. I do have some nice dry juke. And we'll see how dry, huh? I can get this to going now. A piece of bark for a knee brace. Took a bit more effort, but that's okay. We got flames. Now let's see if we can get fire coaxed out of that. The cedar is just a little bit damp still from yesterday's rain. I'm a bit concerned about that. But I'm hoping there's enough dry here. We'll get a little something going here before long. That smoke right down right there is exactly what I need right now. That seemed to have worked out pretty good. Bring a little bit more of it in here and give it a little more air. I think we'll have a good fire going there shortly. I'm sitting here, couldn't figure out exactly what that feeling was I was getting. And it's the cool of the evening has come back. We've missed that for several weeks now. It's just been miserable. 7, 8 o'clock at night, you know, 85 degrees, 88 degrees one night. I think it was 4 nights ago maybe. It was 80 degrees at 11 o'clock at night. Nothing had a chance to cool off, so the heat index was, you know, just that much more the next day. Feels kind of good. Just about time to go ahead and eat dinner. Give me a little spot hollowed out here. Decent coals. Oh yeah. There we go. Chicken and dumplings. Looking forward to it too. Getting hungry. Still kind of shocked from the cool. There's one thing I've learned about eating the mountain house, and I suppose it goes for most all freeze-dried and or dehydrated also. Don't be afraid to get that water hot. And I like to get some of the little pieces up off the bottom. They're right out of rolling boil. Keep that warmed up. Now, let's stir that a little more first, huh? We'll just pour the water in there and let it set. That doesn't usually work. I believe I'll enjoy a little bit of a pipe. Remember where I put my lighter. It's probably going to stay warm enough right down there. Thanks for joining me today, guys. It's going to be kind of a short overnight, starting out late in the afternoon. But this is the first time I've had a chance to get out like this in a while. For one reason or another, I've been putting in quite a few hours at the bike shop lately. Keeping several old pieces of steel running down the highway. I'm going to just hang out till it's time to eat. That was a good dinner. Quite filling. Quite filling. And an easy cleanup too. You gotta love that, right? So you guys saw I didn't cut up much firewood. I didn't aim to stay up late. Kind of hit the old hammock early tonight. See if I can't get a decent night's sleep out of this deal. Yeah, that's more of a fire like you guys are used to me making. Not a whole lot, just enough. Well, that's plenty tonight, actually. Quite a difference in the atmosphere tonight, too. It's a whole lot drier, which I enjoy myself. Doesn't make breathing such a chore. Not that it's been that bad, you know, I mean, it has been, but inside the bike shop, sitting on a big concrete floor, it's managed to stay cool up till last week. So a fan sitting on the floor blowing around kind of stirred up a little bit of cool breeze. Enough to keep you from sweating. But last week it took its toll with those hot days. Once that concrete pad started warming up a bit, then there was no cool breeze coming off the fan anymore. Just a slight breeze out of the north tonight. Feels good. Feels like good sleeping weather. About time. Oh, that cedar loves to pop. Feels like it's been a month of Sundays since I've been out. Kind of missed the 4th of July. Kind of just let that slide right on by. Stayed at the house. Kept it as quiet as we could. It just hadn't been enough of that, you know. Enough quiet. Here before long, within the next month or so, there's going to be a pretty good change for Donna and myself. A change for the better. We're really looking forward to it. It's going to take quite a bit of work. I've already started myself. Got a few things ready for it, and I'll let you guys in on it here just in a week or so. We'll see how things go. See how the progress is coming along. A long overdue change. Long overdue, folks. And speaking of that, if you're where you can, step out on the porch and have a little shot with me tonight. Here's the changes. Good and bad. We need them. We're overdue. Thanks for coming, everybody. Cheers. A little extra. Most of you folks already know I'm involved in a lawsuit. And of course, you know how they love to drag things out. Yeah, that's exactly what's happened to me. And it's one of those things where it is at the point where it is completely out of my control. I really have no say-so over really anything right now, as goofy as that sounds. But that hopefully will be coming to a head before long, one way or the other. Along with the new change. Really looking forward to going into this winter's worth of camping. The summer had to change for me a little bit. I really did want to do more kayaking, and I wanted to be coming out here more, but you know, time you put in a good 9-hour day at the bike shop, really didn't feel like coming out here sometimes, you know, and the heat. Maybe later on I'll be able to get in a river trip this year. I really wanted to pull that one off also. Deer still walking right down there. I'm looking forward to another river trip. The last one was a blast. If you guys haven't checked out that video, actually 2 videos. 6 days worth was just too hard to, you know, edit all of it out. This time we'll be going down the Cumberland. Maybe when it starts to cool off a little bit. I do have a couple other small trips planned. I hope Brother Philbilly gets to go with me. He really wanted to, but things just hadn't been working out for him here lately. Work involved. I'd like to get the whole gang out at some point in time. I think that'd make for a fun afternoon of falling out of the kayak. Maybe we can do a creek trip too. I'm not too sure about put-ins and takeouts as far as doing the Westport Creek around here. A lot of it that used to be accessible has turned into 50 houses instead of an open field. Makes it kind of hard to get permission from some of the folks just to launch kayak, out of their backyard. They really don't want to hear that. But we'll get in the water again before long. Right now I'm just really enjoying this. Yep, I believe another little snort's in order tonight. Abe, Dale Skidmore's secondhand tires. I hope the little hanging thing today helped you out. You may not be able to get comfortable in a hammock, I don't know. Some folks can't. But it'll give you something to work with. Here's to you, brother. Cheers. Got a good one for you. Guys and girls, I think I'm gonna kind of call it an evening here by the fire. Sit here for a little bit, relax. Maybe have another little snort. Thanks for coming. Talk to you guys in the morning. Good morning, everybody. It's probably 8 o'clock. Slept in pretty good. I don't know what time it was. Owls woke me up for a little while last night. They woke me up, but I wound up just staying up for a little bit, hanging out. It's kind of nice. Nice and cool last night. You see I put the sweatshirt on. Kind of for a couple of reasons. My arms were a little bit chilly, yeah. And it was being a nuisance as a pillow. It just wasn't working out. Plus, I really didn't need it. My head lays pretty good right there. Didn't have no critters in camp last night that I know of. Didn't hear any. Don't see any evidence of them trying to pack nothing off anyway. Yeah, I've just been sitting here enjoying the morning. Got a little traffic, but that was to be expected. Still makes for a good morning sitting out here though. Well, I made it this far. Got my shoes on. Just don't feel like getting in no hurry. I'm sure you guys have been there before. It's like the way the sun comes through the trees like that. I think I'm going to finish my pipe up and then I'm going to walk over here at the edge of the field, check on the berry situation again. Take a little bag with me this time, see if I can come back with some. You guys come with me. It's not a very long walk over here to the field. Yeah, it's a good thing this morning. This tripod gets heavy in one hand. Let's go see if we got some berries. A lot of wet ground down here. A lot of deer track too. Ooh, popping out in the field. Would you look at this? I just don't think they're ever gonna all get ripe. This is a strange year for berries. Well, not much you can do about it, is it? Doesn't look like the critters have been picking them clean yet. That's always nice. I'm not too sure what to think about that. Doesn't look like we're going to get many berries this year. We're just going to have to come back more often right now, I guess. They're bound to be getting ripe here soon. And down there is where we found those chanterelles the other day. Bunches of them. Tasty. Look at there what I found. It's kind of dotted about the landscape still. Sneaky, sneaky. You know, I'm kind of surprised, but then again, I'm not. You can see a little evidence where the deer have been picking at them, but they're just not getting ripe. That's the odd thing about it. Are they raspberries? I wasn't much in the mood for chanterelles and oatmeal this morning, so we left the mushrooms alone. I was kind of surprised they're still there. But we only took what we ate. Well, I ate. Donna doesn't care for them. She doesn't really like mushrooms of any kind. I believe it's time for some oatmeal. You know, July has always been a special month for me. My mom and dad were both born in July. My dad would have been 99 this year, excuse me. He was born in 1920. And my mom would have been 98. Let's see. Well, they got married in 1940, so you guys can do the math. I'm a little slow this morning. Time I was in the Navy, I only got one chance to pull it off. The rest of the time I was overseas. I saved up my leave and I came home for the entire month of July. One of the best July 4th and birthday celebrations I think I ever remember. Well, the old Adventure Ridge. 40 liter? 40 liter. Yeah, I don't think so. 40 ounce. Let's try 40 ounce. The liter thing's a little large, isn't it? Told you I wasn't thinking right this morning. Just enjoying this so much. And I put my lighter. Yeah, this 4th of July was pretty quiet at the house, actually. At least I want to believe that. Hoping next 4th of July will be a whole lot better. Say Donna and I have a large change coming up here. Long, long overdue. And I think you guys will like it too. Just going to be a minute or so before we get to pull it off. I meant to get another bag. I thought I had 2 in my hand. Let me finish breakfast. That good breakfast got me kind of energetic this morning. I went ahead and struck camp for the most part. It's one of the things I wanted to show you, just because I don't think I covered it well enough yesterday, about using a fixed ridge line. A lot of people like it, a lot of people don't. To me, it adds that many more variables that you can use when you get out in the woods, and you can't really pick and choose what trees you're going to swing between. Let me do one more quick little thing here, and then I'm going to pack up the rest of my stuff and head toward the house. For me, it gives me a little more adjustment to get what I need here so that I can use more of the width of the fabric. You can go to extremes with it. I've tried it a little bit either way, and let me show you what this looks like with the straps hung about where I would normally hang them without the ridge line. Yeah, and that's not a bad hang. I could raise the straps up just a little bit on either side and give me, go up one more loop on my Atlas strap, give me a little more height off the ground. But you can't always reach way up on a tree. Sometimes you might have a tree this big around, and you have to worry about extra straps then. But with the ridge line, it gives it so that you're going to get a decent night's sleep. You don't have to string your hammock other than the way you like to sleep in it. It just makes it so much nicer for me. I don't know. Some people might like it like that. I can tell you from personal experience, that's too much for me. And if I go back down to my mark, that's about how I like it. Hope that showed you something. There, we got everything back in the bag. Didn't leave no mess as usual. Time for one last pipe before I head to the house. Been a pleasurable little stay. I needed an overnight. Felt good. Felt good. Temperature dropping and everything. It's probably, like 72 degrees right now. And I'm sure it's probably 10 o'clock or so, 10:30. No critters and no berries. Oh well. I'll be back in a few days and we'll check on them again because I'm really interested in them this year. Had a few chanterelles left over up there. That was kind of nice. If I'd have been in the mood to eat them again. Maybe we'll have them one evening for dinner. It does sound good, doesn't it? Well, thanks for coming along, guys. Really appreciate it. Kind of stick with me here on this one. Maybe kind of in and out a little bit here in the next month or so. I'm going to be swapping internets for one thing. And hopefully that'll help on my overall page situation that I've been having forever. And don't know how to get rid of. Thanks for all the information you guys have given me though. Unfortunately, nothing has straightened things out. It's going to be a beautiful day, guys. Till next time, everybody. Just waiting for the next big adventure.